Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Paige, here once again with another video on Legends of Tomorrow Season 4, and this is going to be my review for Episode 9, otherwise entitled, let me look at this, Luchas de Apuestas? I'm not the best at Spanish, but yeah, that title is the name of the episode. And yeah, so if you're not seeing the episode, go watch it, then come back to this video because something pretty big happens at the end, which is pretty like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So yeah, go do that and then come back to this video later on. But if you are continuing, let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts on this episode. What did you love? What did you like? What did you dislike? What did you hate? And anything in the middle, let me know all of that in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, and this is the mid-season premiere for Legends, so if you're excited that Legends is back, leave a like on the video to show your support. Now, last episode was a while ago, like literally, was it December? No, it was December, I think first week of December, first couple of days of December, maybe the last couple of days of November, was episode 8, the mid-season finale, ages ago. So long ago, I had to actually look up what happened last episode because I couldn't remember. But last episode was basically the one where Constantine screws up the timeline. So like Zari's a cat and everything like that. They all turn to puppets at one point, and it's fixing that timeline because, you know, John doesn't really want to, you know, come up against Neron. So yeah, that was last episode. And obviously towards the end of last episode, we see that Kanane, or whatever, Kanane, I think I'm going to call him Kanane, the werewolf thing. He was taken by those couple of guys, and Mona goes after them, and then when the big thing happens and everything just goes to crap. Actually, that was episode 7, wasn't it? Was it episode 7? Or was it the beginning of episode 8? Whenever it was, last time we saw Mona, all that happened, and she gets actually scratched by Kanane after he goes basically ballistic on those two guys and actually kills them, and then he actually ends up escaping. So she's been scratched. But essentially what happens this episode is that the footage is being doctored to the point where it looks like Mona let out Kanane. There's like no evidence of these two guys there, or the men in black, as Mona was referring to them as. So yeah, Mona's in a bit of a pickle. So essentially one of the big points for this episode is, I guess it's Mona trying to gain people's trust, but just the heroes of the show in general, I guess, to try and prove that the footage was doctored and that Mona didn't let Kanane out of the Time Bureau and all of that, and then trying to like look into all these like men in black people as well. But essentially the main plot of this episode kicks off when Mona sends Kanane back to Mexico, and I think it was 1961. So the Legends have grabbed their sombreros, their tequila bottles, and their ponchos because we're heading off to Mexico. And yeah, as Ray said, I'm not even going to bother saying it because he said in a really cringy way in the episode, but let's get ready to wrestle, I guess. But we see Kanane is this like a big wrestler. I think his name's El Lobo. And I'm going to be completely honest, the first half of this episode, for the most part, outside like the intro parts, but like, yeah, so after the intro parts and all the way up until about halfway through the episode, I was so bored. I thought this episode was so boring for that first half. I could really not care less about the wrestling stuff. I'm just going to be brutally honest. I understand why they did it, because what happens at the end of the episode, I completely understand. But they could have done it in a more entertaining way. I don't know if it was just because me as a watcher just really didn't care about Mona and Kanane's relationship. Just because it was weird. Like honestly, it's bestiality. Like, let's be completely honest, it is really weird. So I just really couldn't care about it, to be completely honest. And when the show's focusing on it so much and trying to make you care, but you don't care, you're just there going, okay. You're just watching it, and I think I wrote 3 things down for the first half of the episode, like in regards to notes. And usually I'm writing about 6 or 7, maybe 8 in just an average episode. So I really couldn't care less. If you cared, fair enough, but for me, I really could not care less. Maybe it's just me. But we do have Nate and Zari in this episode, and hopefully they don't go with like a ship. I don't want Nate and Zari to be together. Please don't force that. But we see them, they're teaming up this episode to sort of dig into the altered footage stuff, you know, with the Mona and the Men in Black and stuff, and they're just, you know, trying to, you know, figure that out and prove that Mona wasn't the one that let Kanane out of his little cell thing. And then back in 1961 in Mexico, we actually have Ray, Constantine, and Charlie go back because they actually need to have El Lobo and that gold mask, we'll call him Gold Member. Gold Member, they have to have El Lobo and Gold Member fight in order to retain history, because it's like a big thing because it was like censorship or something. So there's all these riots and protests and people died. So they have to have the wrestling match go ahead in order to prevent that. That's basically what it was. As I said at that point in the episode, really was still not caring about the wrestling stuff at all. So if I missed some details there, feel free to let me know. But I'm pretty sure that's what they were going for. But I think like the best handful of minutes in this episode was definitely the charity event stuff. So Hank was having I think it was like hemophilia. I think that's what the foundation was. I think it was hemophilia was like, this is like charity event for that foundation, where I think Hank said they raised $500,000, so congratulations there. But that event was the best thing. So we had Nate and Zari together. Some of the comments that Nate's mum made to Zari was pretty funny about like childbirthing hips and stuff like that, and Zari was just taken aback by it and a bit shocked. And then we also had Sarah and Ava having that dance sequence and the conversation, which was very elaborate, to be completely honest, but and it's a bit shady, or not shady, but it's a bit up and down, if you want to say. We'll talk about that in more detail in a second. But yeah, I'd have to say that charity event sequence was probably the best part of the episode, even though it was pretty short. And actually in that charity event sequence, we actually do see Neron for a bit. Obviously he's there sort of fiddling with stuff and getting involved, but we only see him for literally 3 seconds of the episode. I was expecting Neron to show up at the end of the episode. I was like, oh, okay, he was just there for the charity event, so okay then. But back to the wrestling match, we see it going on, and it's going well. It's going all well, but then the Time Bureau decide to interrupt, and we get a fairly cool fight sequence. That whole fight sequence was half decent, didn't mind that. Much better than the previous wrestling stuff, to be completely honest. So yeah, that all goes to plan, and the storyline goes well, where basically the timeline is fixed. But this all leads into, you know, Sarah and Ava and like a rocky place they're in with the different ways things were handled, and Sarah not telling Ava certain things, and you know, the distrust in that relationship is probably the best way to put it. And it's in a rocky place, and I didn't think they were actually going to do what they did, but they eventually break up in the episode right at the end because of the way, like how Ava and like what side she's on in regards to the handling of the monsters and creatures and stuff like that, and siding with Hank, and like, well, if Hank wasn't doing this, then we'd all be out, the Time Bureau wouldn't exist, we'd all be out of jobs and everything like that. So you can understand both sides of the argument. I don't think anyone's necessarily right. In my personal opinion, I don't think Sarah's 100% right. I don't think Ava's 100% right. I'd probably side with Ava just because of because Hank is like, you know, keeping everything alive. But you can understand Sarah's side as well. Maybe that's just me who's more on Ava's side. But they've broken up. I think they're probably going to get back together because if you didn't know, Ava is going to be in next season of Legends. She's going to be a season regular. So, or like a main cast member. I don't know what the term is. But she got upgraded, I think, for next season. So they're probably going to get back together unless she turns evil or something. Maybe another Ava clone comes out of nowhere and she's the season villain. I don't know, but I guess they're going to get back together in a couple of episodes, just having some time off, which is probably good for the two, so they can just do their own thing. But yeah. Now we do have Nate telling Hank like, yo, Dad took your phone, know that you stuffed up the footage, mate, you screwed up. So I do like the fact that Nate isn't like being all like, oh no, I'm not working with you anymore. I like the fact that he's basically playing his own dad, and Zari's in on it as well, just to dive deeper into everything. So I like that. But then we see Kanane shot by, I think that was another Men in Black dude that was shot by, and I was like, oh, okay, holy crap, because he was about to go away to his own little happy place, his own little Happy Gilmore dreamland, if you want to call it. And he's shot in the back, and I was like, oh crap. And that basically explains the whole wrestling thing. That's why we had this massive wrestling thing in the storyline, where Kanane is essentially the main character in the episode with Mona. It's to build up to that point. Once again, was it worth it? Probably not, to be completely honest, because I didn't really care about the Kanane character anyway. And we've only just really gotten to know Mona. But due to Kanane getting shot, we know that Mona was actually scratched by Kanane like an episode or two ago. So she actually ends up like hulking out and going into her own like werewolf form and completely slaughters that dude. And damn. So it's going to be interesting to see Mona going forward. We knew this was happening with the Mona character because the description for the character literally said that she like becomes like a werewolf back at like way before this season started. So we knew this was going to happen. It just mattered when. But you know, I think the CGI looked a bit weird when she was transforming. Once she was actually there, it looked fine. I saw people complaining about it. I was like, it looks decent. It looks pretty good. To me at least, for a first appearance. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where it goes forward. I don't think she's going to be the villain for the season. I think it's just going to be like one I think that they're going to have to struggle with in the back half, you know, dealing with her and making sure she doesn't get too angry. But at least she can change back. we know she can change back. So it's not like Kanane, where he's just that form. She can go in between. So it's basically like just, you know, a werewolf. But it seems like it's triggered by her anger. So yeah, it's like the Hulk or maybe like Killer Frost sort of. But yeah. But overall, like my honest thoughts on the episode, it was just, It was like meh. Like if the wrestling stuff wasn't so drawn out, I'd probably like it a bit more. But half of the episode was this wrestling stuff I just didn't care about. It was just like they were trying to make us care about Kanane and Mona when, you know, I don't really care about the Kanane character at all. And their relationship just seemed, as I said, it's weird as like bestiality to me. So I don't really want to support it. I don't really care for it. I don't know. The episode was, I thought it was a very average return from such a long break from Legends. I think they could have come back with a stronger episode, but hopefully going forward we do get stronger episodes. But it wasn't terrible, it just wasn't good. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. It was a bit of a dour video because I didn't really enjoy the episode that much. Loved some certain parts, just didn't love it as much as I really wanted to. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video and you enjoyed the episode or anything like that, let me know in the comment section down below and leave a like on the video. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.